Hey, what's going on, Underworld crew? We're having an amazing day. I appreciate you stopping by the video. Now let's get into the information I'm about to give you. So far, since we are finally 100% 6 days away from the final shape, if you guys have not gotten some of these weapons, I recommend you get them. These are going to be the weapons that I suggest in no particular order that I think you should get no matter what, if you can. If you guys are looking what seasonal weapons to get, I'm not going to be mentioning many seasonal weapons in this list unless I genuinely think that they're one of the best seasonal weapons that have came out this season. If you guys want to know what seasonal weapons that I think you should get from every season that came out this year, there's a video on it on my channel called The Weapons I Think You Should Get Before Final Shape Before They Go Away. So, my water bottle will stop popping. Let's get into the information. So, the first thing that I'm going to suggest to you is Indebted Kindness. It's a wonderful arc sidearm with a new archetype that fires rockets. This sidearm is amazing. I'm sure you've seen it everywhere because I use it and I'm sure 100 other people use it. It can roll with wonderful perks right here with and lead from gold in the first column, which is, in my opinion, best in slot, nothing else better than that. But you can swift flop between these two. You can do Volt Shot if you want to do some Volt Shot builds. If you're looking to use this sidearm on other subclasses that want to match it and you want to get the bonuses from using a matching weapon on the matching subclass, you can swap it using your class ability with the perk Permeability. Using your class ability changes this weapon damage type to match your subclass until you steal the weapon. So this is great because you can use it to swap it to Void, to Stasis, to Arc. Well, not to Arc. Well, it's already Arc, but you know what I mean. And they already stated, Bungie has already told us that we are getting another Strand and Solar Rocket sidearm when Final Shape launches. So if you're looking for one of those, may want to wait until Final Shape. But if you want to use it on Void or you want to use it on Stasis, you can. So it's really good. Also, like I said, Volt Shot is also really good as well. Another weapon that I'm suggesting, Warden's Law. Warden's Law, if you have not already seen it, I'm assuming you're not a Hunter player, and if you are a Hunter player and you don't know what this is, what are you doing? You must not use Lucky Pants. This is one of, if not the best weapon for Lucky Pants usage. It fires 2 bullets at a time, other than the standard 1 bullet at a time. It can roll with 4th times the charm to give you increased ammo reserves to sustain damage, and verbal weapon for a 20% damage increase. Great for sustained damage. If you do not have this right now for the rest of the season until Final Shape launches in a week, is double XP on everything, Vanguard, Gambit, and Crucible. So you can go in and get this now if you want. You don't have to worry about it being Adept either, because Adept's big one spec is going away in the Final Shape. So as long as you got one, it's better than not having one. And if you can't get one, feel free to go get Malfeasance, which is a second place in most damage when it comes to Lucky Pants, especially it's number 1 if the enemy is shooting is taken. Moving forward, we got some good incandescent weapons. We're going to start down the list with hand cannons because I prefer hand cannons. Don't forget, number 1, Sunshot. But if you're trying to save your exotic slot, my go-to from now on will forever probably be Luna's Howl, Heal Clip, Incandescent. Now you might be wondering, Ghost, why do you want Heal Clip over, let's say, Enlightened Action? Why do you want that? It gives you reload speed. Nah, I want the Heal Clip so I can proc Ember of Benevolence, which gives you 500% ability regen speed when you give a teammate a solar buff. So I can do this, get all my abilities back, and keep doing consecrations. It's amazing. I really love it. Love Heal Clip in this endgame meta. It's amazing. But if you don't like Heal Clip, prefer not to use it, Enlightened Action is also really good. You can also go with Subsistence. Make sure you buff that magazine size up so you can get 2 though instead of 1 bullet back at a kill. Another good hand cannon that I will recommend, Apocryphal Integration. You can get it from Parting the Veil quest on Neomuna after you finish the campaign. It comes with Incandescent and Status for All. Will also keep away now the storm if you want to do a PvP role, but mainly, if you're going to do PvE, Incandescent, Status for All. It comes with micro miss as well when you get killed. When you hit targets multiple times, it should rocket out every time periodically. Another weapon that I do not have personally, but I hear people sing the praises about, is Zali's Bane. Zali's Bane can roll with, it's craftable first off and enhanceable, and it will be even, you can enhance it in the Final Shape if you have the Herald version. If not, you can craft it now and have the enhanced traits on it. It can roll with Explosive Payload in the first column and Incandescent in the second column. Explosive Payload is a 15% damage buff at all times. That can give you increased damage buff from that from the hand cannons, because hand cannons already got a buff a while ago back in like Season of the Deep. So you got that damage buff from that, and you get the 15% from Explosive Payload that is always on, plus Incandescent, which gives you even more explosions. Great perk. Try it if you haven't used it. But for me, I prefer Luna's Howl over everything. 4, Pulse Rifles. We can do BXR from Dares of Eternity. You can roll with Demolitionist Incandescent. That's what I use on mine. If you want another Pulse Rifle, Adorative can roll with Incandescent from Season of the Wish. You can get it from this section right here if you're going over to Riven. Come over here. Hey, Riven's little man. Come over here to Focusing. And you want to get Adorative from the Undying Weapons. Can roll with some good perks like Incandescent, like I said, and some other stuff as well. If you want another post rival and you don't mind Prophecy, Darkest Before can roll with Incandescent Heal Clip, another role that I'm hunting for that I never got and probably won't get into after the final shape launches. If you're looking for auto rifles, Amit from the Crafting Quest, and Summoner from Trials of Osiris. If you're looking for SMG, Callus Mini Tool from Xur, and it's also craftable if you have the recipe, and No Survivors from the Ghost of the Deep Dungeon. If you want a sidearm, Heliocentric, another great sidearm, but I tend not to use sidearms PvE. Moving forward to DPS weapons, starting with linear fusion rifles. You can't go wrong with Cataclysmic. Cataclysmic is one of, if not the best linear in the game, even after the bait and switch nerf. You can roll with 4 times the charm and bait and switch, amazing perk. If you don't have a void fusion rifle, Dune Partitioner can roll with Reconstruction, Surrounded, and Precision Instrument. I went Surrounded on my roll because I don't have a Surrounded linear yet, so that's what I wanted. But if you don't use Surrounded that often, Precision Instrument, you can't go wrong with it. Another one that if you don't have, I don't have right now, Storm Chaser. Storm Chaser is another amazing arc linear fusion rifle. Is an aggressive burst just like Doom Partitioner, but I don't have one, a good one, so I sharded mine. Storm Chaser can roll with Clown Cartridge, Rapid Hit, and Firing Line if you need that. Vorpal Weapon, the Vorpal Weapon is not the best because it's a 10% on heavy weapons, but can't go wrong with Firing Line if you get it. Moving forward to DPS fusion rifles, you can't go wrong with the Old Faithful Cartesian Coordinate. Cartesian Coordinate is a solar rapid fire fusion rifle that can roll with fairly good perks and ends up at the gunsmith fairly often. This one can roll with Lead from Gold, which is my go-to pick, and Vorpal Weapon. And now it may not be the full 20% on primary weapons, but it's 15% on special weapons, and 15% is better than nothing. Now, if you want another one that's Strand, may I introduce you to Scatter Signal. Scatter Signal can also roll with some great perks for PvE. Comes with Overflow, which I chose on mine, and Controlled Burst. Landing every shot in a burst grants this weapon increased damage and reduced charge time for an improved duration. Upon scoring a kill or hitting every shot on a burst, grants 20% increased damage and 10% decreased charge time for 2 seconds. Beautiful bonus. Now, if you want, the situation with this is if you want to go straight DPS or DPS with some utility. If you want utility and DPS, you can go ahead and go pick up Slice. Casting your class ability allows this weapon to sever targets hit from brief duration up to a maximum of targets. The next 5 targets hit within 8 seconds of using your class ability applies to Sever to hit targets, even they are currently immune to damage. Sever is, I believe, a 35% damage debuff. I think it might be 40, honestly. I'm not sure about that. If I'm wrong, correct me in the comments. So if you were looking at a target that's doing a lot of damage to you and want him to not do that much damage, hit him with this. Another good one that I have is also from Season of the Witch. It is Eremite. It can also roll with Envious Assassin and Controlled Burst. Great damage. You can get it with Heal Clip as well, but I wouldn't recommend it. You can do Compulsive Reloader, but I wouldn't recommend it. Lead from Gold is not a bad one. But for me specifically, I don't really enjoy Envious Assassin. I always go for Reconstruction if it's available, because I always forget to proc Envious Assassin by pulling the weapon out, because I just forget. So getting it to the maximum use case, I normally don't do all the time unless I'm really thinking about it. And sometimes even when I'm really thinking about it, I still forget. Now, if you got one for solar, you got one for solar. You got a Rabbit one for solar. You got one for Strand. Let's talk about Arc. Techien Force from the Last Wish Dungeon. Last Wish Raid can also be gotten from Riven's Wishes. You can roll it with Rewind Rounds and Controlled Burst. Great perks. Go get it. Amazing. You can't go wrong with it. Now, that's the ones I'm suggesting. If you do have one like I have here with a loaded question with Reservoir Burst and Envious Assassin, you can do that too. But in my opinion, Controlled Burst is better than Reservoir Burst. Now, if you don't have any of these weapons that you can craft, you can go get Nox Perennial. What is a world drop? I think it will be farmable next season. It can roll with Envious Assassin and Controlled Burst. So if you don't have the opportunity to get Scatter Signal before the season ends and this drops for you, go ahead and keep it when that drops next season. You will be farmable in Lost Sectors next season as well, if I'm remembering correctly, if it's not farmable already. Moving on to rockets. Apex Predator. One of, if not the best rocket in the game that is easy to get right now through Riven's Wishes. If you go on up over through this portal, like I said before, come out through this portal that I'm in right now, go ahead and talk to Mora. She gives you these quests called Riven's Wishes that I have not done yet because I don't need them particularly. You give these quests, it gives you wish tokens. You can use these wish tokens to go up to her and buy weapons from the last. You can buy red borders from the last wish raid. You can buy exotics from all the seasons. You can buy upgrade materials and mementos from last seasons and last events. But I recommend in this order, you want Apex Predator, then either Supremacy or Techian Force, and for fun, Tyranny of Heaven. Tyranny of Heaven is an amazing build that can roll with Explosive Head and Incandescent, but you can also roll it with Firefly Incandescent, which is really fun. Big kabloomies on that bow. But we'll get back to the Supremacy later. Cold Comfort, another amazing rocket launcher. I don't have the best roll on it, but I still use it. It can roll with Envious Assassin and Explosive Light or Bait and Switch. Both of these are great perks, and they both do the same amount of damage buff now because Bait and Switch got debuffed. No. Bait and Switch got nerfed from 35 to 30, just like Explosive Light. In case you want Impact Casing, Envious Assassin, Bait and Switch, or Explosive Light. Great perks. Now, another one that if you don't have either one, a world drop version, Crow Extermination has great perks on it. Reconstruction, Envious Assassin, Slide Shot, Clown Cartridge. You literally can't go wrong with 3 of these. If you're sliding the well, make sure your team is okay with it. So if you get any of these perks, preferably, but for me, it would go Reconstruction, Envious Assassin, Clown Cartridge. But like I said, I prefer Reconstruction over Envious Assassin whenever it's available because I don't have to remember to charge it. You can go with Explosive Light, great perk. Reconstruction for ad clear. Surrounded if you want Surrounded Rocket Launcher. Can't go wrong with either of them. Great rocket. Just be careful. You got to play the RNG to get the roll you want, as it is a world drop. You should be able to farm for it next season, though. Moving into grenade launchers. I'm sorry. Edge Transit, the best grenade launcher in the game, can roll with Envious Assassin, Auto Loading Holster, Cascade Point, Bait and Switch, and Explosive Light. But you have the opportunity to get the shiny version that is only available until Final Shape launches. So if you're watching this before Monday, you missed out. But if you're watching it right now, this week, the last week of Into the Light before Final Shape launches, is bonus shiny drop race. So get in there and start farming for those weapons. You want spike grenades, Envious Assassin, Auto Loading Holster. For me, I want the version that I want. Because Bungie has already announced that they're going to be doing something about Cascade Point and Envious Assassin. I'm assuming they're going to find some way to make it so that if you swap off Envious Assassin, you lose the ammo. And just in case that happens, I want Envious Assassin and Auto Loading Holster. Because Auto Loading Holster grenade launchers are really good for swapping with Izzy's and stuff like that. So I want Envious Assassin, Auto Loading Holster, Bait and Switch, Explosive Light. Because sometimes you might not have time to get the Bait and Switch proc, but you definitely going to have time to get Explosive Light proc. Because even after the well nerfs come through, people are still going to be running it. Now, if you don't have either of those options, another world drop option is Marceline D. It may not be the best, but it's still good. It's not craftable. Don't worry about this. It's a bug. It's not supposed to be craftable. It can roll with Envious Assassin and Explosive Light, as well as Cascade Point. Great options. Now, for machine guns, we're going to go over here, take a good look at Old Faithful. Commemoration. Can roll with Reconstruction, Killing Tally. Can't go wrong with it. Beautiful. Great for forward builds. Solar builds. Fixed odds from the Duality Dungeon. By the way, I'm sorry I forgot to mention. Commemorations from the Deepstone Crypt Dungeon. Deepstone Crypt Raid. You can get it craftable from that. For fixed odds, it's available in the Duality Raid Dungeon. I'm sorry, I can't speak today. Duality Dungeon. It can roll with Fading Frenzy and Incandescent. I use it for solar builds. If you want a good one, Thunderlord. You can get it from the Gifts of the Thunder Gods right now from Into the Light. Great weapons. Another rocket launcher that I completely missed out. Dragon's Breath. Claim this right now for free from this season pass. Amazing rocket launcher. Great for solo DPS and swapping it out. So what you do with Dragon's Breath, you shoot a rocket, swap to the other weapon, shoot, let it auto reload, shoot another rocket, swap to weapon, shoot. If you play it during a time when Anarchy was meta, think of it as Anarchy or Witherhoard right now. For swords, Bequest, one of the best swords in the game. Fallen Guillotine, another great sword. Slammer, if you have one, even though Bequest and Fallen Guillotine have completely outraised it with Fallen Guillotine being able to roll Relentless Strikes, Bait and Switch, Relentless Strikes, Whirlwind Braid, Relentless Strikes, Surrounded, Frenzy, Surrounded, Vorpal, Surrounded. The freaking Slammer had no chance. No chance at all. Rest in peace. Now, for some exotics. Wisp of the Worm, great heavy sniper rifle, great for Oryx and other sustained damage types when you have the time to do damage. Make sure you get the catalyst for it if possible. Outbreak Perfected, great for sustained DPS checks when you're out of ammo. If everyone has Outbreak, that boss is going to die. may not be, before people kill me in the comments, Outbreak Perfected is something you use when you're out of heavy and special ammo. It is a great primary damage option in the game. Another one that I think you should get, speaking of great primary damage, Final Warning. Final Warning is an exotic sidearm that has the all-in-one straight. Holding down the trigger marks targets within range and loads multiple bullets, which fire in a burst and increase the stability on trigger release. Hitting marked targets for fully charged. Hitting a marked target with a fully charged burst unravels them. You can do pick your poison. Hip firing projectiles will track marked targets, dealing increased body shot damage to impact. Aiming projectiles have greatly increased velocity and deal extra critical hit damage to marked targets. This is one of, if not the best, primary damage weapons for solo players in the game. Use it. Get it. It's required from doing the Lightfall campaign. If you don't have Lightfall, that's completely fine. Don't worry about it, but it is really good. Izanagi's Burden can be gotten from the Monument to Lost Light. Get the catalyst for it if you can. If you don't have Leviathan's Breath, go get it. It comes with a great catalyst, but if you don't have the catalyst, don't bother using it until you get the catalyst. Finish that catalyst because it maxes out the reserves so you can have max amount of ammo and you don't need reserve mods, as well as giving it another version, as well as giving it another version of Archer's Tempo that lets you pull back that arrow a bit faster so you can be fine in DPS phases. And yeah, that's all I think you should get. If I missed anything in the comments below, feel free to mention. One last thing, Mountaintop is amazing. Get one with auto-loading recombination. And that's it for me. If you're looking for PvP weapons, that's not the person you should be coming to for that. My suggestions off the top of my head, Midnight Coup is really good with Zen Moment and Moving Target. You can also get Blast Furnace. I'm still looking for one with Zen Moment Rapid Hit for the memes, for the most stable weapon in the game. Heritage is a great slug shotgun with Reconstruction recombination. And that's about it. For exotics, another one I'd like to mention is Arbalist. Agriceptor is great for stasis builds. And yeah, that's about it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you have a good one, and remember, stay spooky. Appreciate you guys, and I'll see you in the final shape.